When things don't go your way, you can either accept it and move on, or stress, struggle, and ruminate. But accepting life's changes can really be difficult for some people. So Monica Berg is an international speaker and author of the book, The Gift of Being Different. She's joining us this afternoon with some ideas of how to let go and kind of go with the flow a bit. Monica, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Well, so, it's easy when you have a problem or an issue, people say, just let it go, let it go. But it's really actually hard to do that when they're struggling with change or stress. Why is that?
It is, and often when you hear the phrase let it go and you're experiencing stress, anxiety, or phobias, it can sound a bit harsh, right? I mean, we all want to let it go ultimately, but it's the most difficult thing to do. And part of that is that our brains are wired for survival, not for happiness. So we tend to hold on to those things that upset us, and we stay stuck in that situation. And quite honestly, those feelings of anxiety and stress feel very real, mentally and physically. So the first thing is to not judge yourself for whatever it is you're experiencing it, but also know that you can rewire your brain. Whatever thought you have the most actually will be what you tend to go to. So instead of fighting those kind of negative thoughts or phobias, start to change your thoughts and have them be more positive. And the more positive thoughts you think and the more you choose to think in that way, then your brain starts to go in that direction. As the neurons, scientists say the neurons that wire together fire.
Well, let's talk about that. How do you actually stop that cycle? Because you have a problem, a bad conversation, something happens, an email that you don't like. How do you stop that cycle of ruminating?
Right? I mean, we tend to remember the bad things. It's called negativity bias. So, we might hear 100 great things about ourselves, positive things, but we tend to hold on to that one negative thing. And again, that's set up for our survival. For instance, our ancestors, if they went into 7 different caves, let's say one cave had natural waters, the other one had berries at the entrance, and one had a bear, what are you going to remember? It was set up for our survival. But again, here we can choose to think good thoughts and to really change the way that we approach things, but know that it's a choice you make. So first is ask, why is it that you can't let go? For some reason, we might be holding on to something subconsciously. 2, be clear about what's not in your control. So often we try to control the things that are really negative that are happening to us. Instead, say, okay, if this is not an option, then what is? And there's always a different way to look at things if we ask ourselves that question. The 3rd is just to stop catastrophizing. It's like that children's story, Chicken Little. The chicken gets hit with an acorn and he runs around saying the sky is falling.
Sure.
We tend to do that. And often the things that we worry about in our wildest imaginations never really happen, right? Sometimes some things happen, but not in that way, on that level.
No question at all. And finally, trust yourself, that's for sure. Monica, it's good to have you with us this afternoon. Thank you so much. I know this is something that affects a lot of people, especially as we're moving at such a quick pace. Well, for more inspiration or to listen to Monica's podcast, Spiritually Hungry, you can visit rethinklifetoday.com. You can also follow her on Instagram as well. The information right there on your screen.